voice are familiar, and they should be. Chanhassen Dinner Theatres audiences will remember Laura Osnes. In 2002, Chanhassen's artistic director, Michael Brindisi, hired a young Laura Osnes to play in The Music Man. In 2006, Laura returned to play the role of Sandy in Chanhassen's production of Grease. She went on to win NBC's nationally televised contest, Grease, You're the One That I Want. Following Grease, she's enjoyed leading Broadway roles in South Pacific, Anything Goes, and most recently Bonnie and Clyde.
Two living legends, that's what we will be, and that's okay with me.
She makes New York City her home with her husband Nathan, but today she's here at Chanhassen Dinner Theatres for a visit. So Laura, what is it like to be back in these walls at Chanhassen Dinner Theatres?
Oh, it's a thrill. Even driving in the parking lot today, I was trying to remember how to get here, and I was like, I think I'll remember. And it was muscle memory. I came back like it was home. So it's so thrilling to be back at Chan.
Well, when we heard you were coming back, I thought, oh, it's only been a couple of years since she's been away. But when I went back and I looked at my notes, it's been 5.5 years since you've been back. And I can't believe how fast that time has gone.
Absolutely. I feel the same way, to think that I've been in New York now for almost 5 years. I've been married for almost 5 years. Like all of that exciting time has been,
and it's just been a whirlwind of successes for you.
Thank you.
I think several Broadway shows since you left Chanhassen. Mm-hmm. What was it like playing in Grease, the first Broadway show, when you left Chanhassen?
Oh gosh, I mean, it was a dream come true. Broadway is what I've always wanted to do, and so it all fulfilled my expectations. It was, I had high expectations, and it was a dream come true, and it totally met them. It was
and you're still so young. I mean, you're still in your 20s. I mean, what are some of the projects that you've been involved in since Grease on Broadway? You've been involved in some other Broadway shows.
Sure, I did South Pacific on Broadway.
Amazing.
And got to replace Kelly O'Hara, who has been one of my idols, musical theater idols, since I was young. So that was, again, incredible. And then after South Pacific, I went into Anything Goes on Broadway and got to work with Hope. Yeah, played Hope Harcourt in Anything Goes, and worked with Sutton Foster, who was another one of my childhood idols. And then after Anything Goes, I left to do my first originating role in a brand new Broadway musical called Bonnie and Clyde. And I got to do that. The show already closed, but it was an amazing experience. And
weren't you in California doing that at some sort of a tryout first?
Yes.
At La Jolla?
The show went out of town twice. We went to La Jolla Playhouse and Oslo Rep in Florida. And that was in between South Pacific and Anything Goes. We did those two. And then the show made its way to Broadway, which was amazing. It was cool to be a part of something from the ground up and really see the show develop and grow into the role.
And it was a Frank Wildhorn show, the man who created the music for Jekyll and Hyde. And
yes, Scarlett Pimpernel, Dracula.
Known for beautiful melodies. And
absolutely. The man can write a tune, and he's very passionate about music, and it was a thrill to work with him because I've listened and known all of his shows, too, since I was little.
I'm just curious to know, how did Chanhassen Dinner Theatres prepare you in your younger years for what you've experienced today?
Sure. Well, Minneapolis, first of all, is an amazing theater town, and I feel so fortunate that I got to grow up and work a lot professionally at such a young age, and one of them was Chanhassen, and especially having gotten to do Grease here and have that be a launching pad that took me right into the Grease reality show. It was perfect because I knew the role so well, I knew the show so well, and I'm so thankful to Michael Brindisi at the time, who let me leave the show for a week to fly to Los Angeles and audition for this reality show that nothing could have happened, or something could have happened. And we
were watching. We went back yesterday just to some of the archives to look at some of the films of your weekly, I guess you'd call them auditions.
Sure.
From the Grease, You're the
TV.
One That I Want TV show that you won, and that ultimately took you to Broadway to do the starring role in Grease. And we had such a fun time watching you sing songs from Jesus Christ Superstar, and every week you sort of progressed, and then the audience votes, and
that was my journey. I kind of got a chance to work my way up instead of start at the top and fall down. So I'm grateful for the way that worked out too.
Well, we were having fun watching those pieces and just sort of seeing. Also, we went back and looked at some of the Broadway clips of you in rehearsals for Anything Goes, working with Sutton Foster,
sure.
and I can't help. I mean, I've been here a long time. I've known you since you were a little girl. The first play you were in here was The Music Man. You're like 13, 14 years old, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I was like 15.
15.
Yeah. I could drive. I drove here, so I must have been 16.
You must have been 16.
16, 17,
well, you looked
yes.
younger than that.
Yes, I did, and I played younger than that.
But anyway, I'm just wondering, what, if you can sort of hone it down, what has been the best part of your success? The best?
I would say there's two things. One is that this is what I've wanted to do since I was a little girl. And getting to do what I love every day is amazing. That doesn't happen to most people. And I get paid to do it. And I'm doing it on Broadway, which is, the peak of
Creme de la creme.
in this industry. Yes, exactly. And I just feel so blessed and so lucky that the doors have opened to get me there. And also getting to inspire people. It's interesting. I get letters from people at the stage door who now I get to be on the other side and get to give back in that way. Like I remember waiting at the stage door and waiting to get Sutton's autograph and waiting to get Kelly O'Hara's autograph. And now there are little girls who are doing that for me. And it just seems unreal because I still feel so normal and just I am who I am. And that I can do that for other young artists now is just very fulfilling.
Have there been any downsides?
There's pressure that comes along with that, always wanting to live up to what people want and what people expect of me. But
I can totally see that.
At the same time, it's a very warm and welcoming community, and I feel like I found my niche in New York now, and I know a lot of people, and I feel like I have found a home there in the midst of the kind of competitiveness and the expectation that lies there. And I also love doing it. So if I didn't love doing it, those things would maybe weigh me down more, but the good parts outweigh the negatives.
The bad.
And the negatives, yeah.
So if you were to give any little piece of advice or words of wisdom to, say, a young actor,
Sure.
Maybe a high school student
Yeah.
coming up, what would that little piece of advice or tidbit be?
Continue to train and always believe in yourself, because for me, my dream did come true, and it just is proof that if you set goals, they can be achievable, and if you have a dream, it can be reached. And it takes work and it takes dedication, and you can't get down about any bad reviews you're given or any criticism you're given. Just continue to be who you are, because I think eventually there's going to be a role that you're right for. Don't try to be someone you're not. Just bring honesty and bring yourself to any auditions and any characters you're playing.
What did you think of Hairspray? I know a really good friend of yours, Nicole Renee Chapman, is in the show, and she plays kind of the naughty, mean girl.
Amber Von Tussle, yes.
Yeah, what did you think of Hairspray,
Well,
first of all?
I loved this show. So energetic and colorful and amazing. I love the show as it is. So fun to see Chan's rendition of it. And it was fantastic. The dancing, the costumes, everything. And then... Nicole was amazing. It was so fun to see her be the bad girl, because she's so sweet in real life, and we're the dearest of friends. She was the maid of honor at my wedding. So,
oh my goodness, wow.
Yeah, so it was so fun to see her.
Yes, we love
knock it
her.
out of the park.
We do love her here, and you're right. She's the total antithesis of that part.
Absolutely.
Amber is really a mean girl.
I know, and
she's
Nicole is
such a
so
dear heart.
sweet and generous and loving to everybody.
She is. Well, you know what? We have just a tiny little surprise for you. She got out of her costume really quickly, and she's here.
You were amazing.
Oh, I am so excited you're here.
It is so
This
good
is
to
so
see you.
fun.
My goodness,
I love
were
you.
So beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So fun to have her back.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I noticed? That you are wearing some of my costumes from Greece, I think.
I am. 2 of them, I believe.
That pink one?
Yes,
Pink
the
checkered.
pink and white checkered. What do you think about that?
Okay, it's I don't know how I feel.
You're not sure what to
I don't
think?
know.
Well, that's what happens when you leave the greatest dinner theater in the world.
I guess
For Broadway.
That's true. But if anyone was to wear them, I would say you would be the only person.
Well, thank
So.
you. We're very connected through these costumes.
Absolutely.
And in many other ways.
And you pulled off playing the bad girl really well.
Oh,
Really well.
well. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's a little hard to be mean. But
A little later, we were joined by CDT Artistic Director Michael Brindisi. Well, listen, we're really excited that this nice old home week here, getting together, and
I love this girl. I want to say one thing.
All right.
I remember 2 things about you. One was the day in rehearsal when you were standing with the piano player and learning a song, and I was sitting on the stool on the other side of the piano, and you stopped and you looked at me and you had that look of, Is that good? Do you like what you're hearing? And I just looked at you and I said, you're the real deal, aren't you? And you just kind of lowered your head sheepishly and you said, thank you. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And I said, no, you are going places. And it was the moment I realized. And the other thing I remember is when they sent the lady out from California to interview me in the early part of the competition. And there were many contestants. And she interviewed. The first question she asked me was, what do you think Laura Osnes' chances are of winning this contest? I said, well, I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think she was English, she was British.
Okay, yes.
And then she said, and I said, I'm not going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I know. I said, Laura Osnes is going to win that contest. And she said, well, she was taken aback. She was taken aback and she said, well, how can you be so sure? I said, because there is nobody in the world who can play Sandy Dombrowski the way Laura Osnes played it. I said that right to her. And she was like,
oh my goodness.
Okay, well, and she like dismissed me. It was like, that was the end of the interview and it never played, of course. But I was absolutely convinced.
Goodness.
And you did, of course.
Yeah.
I think you knew. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of CDT TV and a visit with Laura Osnes. Be watching for Laura on a Broadway stage coming soon somewhere, and be watching for Nicole Renee Chapman right here at Chanhassen Dinner Theatres in Hairspray, now playing through May 26th. We hope you'll come visit us soon. Thanks.